It's raining. I don't do rain. I don't mind quite so much that it's not my bike that's getting filthy. But this is it. I'm taking the Tuono back to Aprilia. She's going home. I'm very sad to be getting rid of this motorcycle. I have absolutely loved every second of my time with this bike. It's been incredible. I'm actually going to swap this now for the RSV4 RF, because in my opinion at the moment there is no need to buy a sports bike as a road bike. If you're just using your bike for the roads, it's pointless. You do not need one. This does everything a sports bike can do, and it's comfortable. That's the beauty of it. It is an out and out race machine, but with comfort. The highlights for me with this bike is the engine. The engine is just phenomenal. Power everywhere. It's an incredible bike, which for me personally ticks all of the boxes that what I want from a bike. The only downsides on this, there's a couple of little niggles. One is there's no fuel gauge, which I spoke about on my electronics review. Other little niggles is filling with fuel. It's a bit tight, the fuel cap. It's a bit tight to get the hose in, which is normally a good thing, a tight hole, but not when it comes to filling your motorcycle with fuel. Other niggles with this bike, I'm really struggling because it is that good. Obviously the price, not so much a niggle as a huge blocking factor to some people. It's a £16,000 motorcycle. It's the most expensive naked bike you can buy. Is that price justified over something like the Super Duke? This, remember, comes fully loaded with everything. You buy this bike, you perhaps change the exhaust, you ride it, you don't need to buy anything else for it. It is all here, and it is all extremely good. The Super Duke, maybe a couple of grand less, but you've then got to start unlocking electronics, unlocking quick shifters to get everything the bike can do. So by the time you've added a few extras, there's probably not a huge difference between the price. Oh, weather! I don't ride in the rain. I've got to go to Silverstone in the bloody rain. What the hell? Another downside with this bike is fuel economy. This engine is slightly thirstier than a straight 4000. Not by a huge amount. Some people say, I think if you were to ride it sensibly, it could deliver very similar miles per gallon as what you can on a regular 1000. I think the main reason why this works out to be thirstier on a run is because you're giving it some of that more often. Because that power is just there waiting, you tend to use it more, I think. And again, that is another downfall of this bike, is keeping it under control. Well, keeping yourself in control. It's got all these control systems, wheelie control, traction control. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with any self-control. That is down to the rider. Really good things about this bike. In the little things, the details of this bike, it's got some fantastic details. Even the rear foot pegs look like they're going fast. Even the rear foot peg design looks great. They've even got like little wings on the back of the heel plates on the foot pegs for the passenger foot pegs. I mean, what sort of bike has good looking passenger foot pegs? This does. It doesn't feel cheaply made in any respect. Everything is just looks top notch. You don't see a bit of it has some plastic trimmings, but they don't look cheap. They look like good quality plastic trimmings, if there is such a thing. But there is, because you look at some bikes, I'm not going to name names, but some manufacturers, the plastics look nasty. There's none of that fake carbon fibre. Well, oh, I tell a lie, the front mudguard is fake carbon fibre front mudguard. Other good things I love about this bike is the throttle response and the actual throttle itself, the throttle grip. Normally ride by wire, you've got that annoying waggly throttle where there's a bit of play in the throttle which winds me up. On some bikes you can adjust it, as I was told, like the MT-09, it's adjustable, but on this it's just nothing. It is just there, no waggle, instantly there. I think they've had to spend a lot of time getting the throttle feel on this bike perfect, because if this was snatchy or had a poor throttle response, I think it would actually be dangerous to ride. The only reason this bike is controllable with all the power and torque it's got is because the mapping, the throttle response is so good. This is definitely a rider's bike, without a doubt. It's for people who love the thrill of motorcycling. This bike is all about the thrills. Everything about this bike is built to be exciting. I'm racking my brain to think of bad points. Obviously, rear pillion is a joke on this. The R model has a much bigger passenger seat. You can have it, it does come with a passenger seat, this. I haven't got it, they didn't give it to me, but it comes with a little passenger seat. I wouldn't want to sit on it. I think the whole bike would disappear up my arse if I sat on it. Ergonomic wise, position wise, comfort wise, I'm 6'2". I do have to tuck my legs up a little bit, and when I first rode it, after an hour I was getting a bit of a pinching in the back of your legs, where your leathers are sort of pinching, where they are cramped a little bit. You are also leaning forward a little bit. There is a tiny little bit of pressure on the bars where you're leaning forward, and that comes down to the fact this is an adapted sports bike, not a dedicated naked build. So there is some compromises there, but if you want your naked to be like a sports bike but comfortable, then this is it. I think these pegs are definitely lower than they're definitely lower than a sports bike's pegs, without question. They're in between a sports bike and, say, the Super Duke. You can certainly see the sports bike heritage with the seating position. Wind protection isn't great on this. On the motorway, sort of 85 is the maximum comfortable speed you can sit at. Again, I'm 6'2", so I'm quite tall, so I'm sitting a little bit higher, I guess, than the average rider. But if I were taking this on a long run, I'd be looking at an aftermarket screen which is perhaps 2 or 3 inches higher. I think that'll just put you out the wind a little bit more. I think if you rode this a lot on the motorways, you'd end up with neck muscles like the Incredible Hulk. Pissing rain. Welcome to the British summer. So I pull over and get my rain mac on. I might have to. I broke down on the blade here once. Beastie broke down here. I get my mac on. Poor old Tuono's getting all dirty. I've kept it all clean as well. Let's get my tactical vest off. In here we have the Orange Wonder. Is this one? Is it this one? No. Is it this one? Is it this one? Yay! Ooh, oh my god. What the hell is that? Oh. I don't know what that is. Someone's been round jizzing over all my stuff. As you can see, I'm not geared up for wet weather. I'm your summer pansy. God, it's windy. God, it's cold. What I wouldn't give for just a slightly higher screen right now. Oh man, what a trip. I've just spent the last hour sat on the motorway, 85, 90 miles an hour, in the rain, freezing cold, cruise control on. Oh, oh, it's a good bike, even in those conditions. Look at the poor thing. Poor bike, it's not meant for this abuse. With the cruise control, even touching the throttle will disable it, which is a bit weird. It's quite hard not to move the throttle at all when you're trying to hold on at like 85, 90-ish, well, you know, allegedly. Which I would have thought you would have, you know, you could accelerate with the cruise control on like you can in the car when the cruise control's on. But no, if you try and accelerate, it'll turn it off. Silverstone, 10 miles. There we go. I'm blind as a bat. Traction control in action there. Pretty smooth. Pretty darn smooth. Those super coursers have got an amazing level of grip. Unbelievable. I really expected that to spin up then. Amazing. Could try the slide control out now. No thanks. Those people who think, I don't like traction control, this is my traction control. I used to be like that, but these bikes are so good now. And I wouldn't even dream of coming out on the Fireblade and giving handfuls of throttle on wet, greasy roads, but the system is so good that I trust it. Maybe that's foolish of me, but it's so good. Handfuls of throttle up here. It controls that spinning so well. You barely even notice it spinning. That's impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, it's not quite the trip back to return the bike that I would have liked. It's not the run, the fun I could have had on my final trip on the Tuono. But despite a shitty ride like this, it's still been well worth it, and I have loved every moment of it, even freezing cold in the wind and rain. It's still a great bike. I want one. I want one. There's the camera. I knew it was here somewhere. I've got a fucking police car on me out. Is he pulling me over? Ooh, I'm scared then. We hate it when you get a police car at your ass. Breathe out.